Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top stories today. The FBI says it's investigating what appears to be an attempted assassination of Donald Trump. It happened Sunday at the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach. The former president and current Republican presidential nominee was not harmed. Lee Waldman has more from Florida.
For the second time in 2 months, former President Donald Trump is the victim of an apparent assassination attempt.
So I don't think this is the last we'll see of crazies out there trying to do this.
Sources say Trump was moving between holes 5 and 6 at his Florida golf club when gunshots went off. The golf round, a last-minute addition to his schedule.
I'm focused on finding out how he knew Trump's movements and where he was.
According to the Palm Beach County Sheriff, a Secret Service agent spotted a rifle barrel sticking out of a fence 300 to 500 yards away from Trump, and agents fired at a man in the bushes along the perimeter.
How was the outer perimeter? How was this shooter able to get to that outer perimeter, an area that should have been identified as a vulnerability previously?
Sheriff Rick Bradshaw says the quick thinking of a witness helped officers quickly apprehend a suspect.
Fortunately, we were able to locate a witness that came to us and said, hey, I saw the guy running out of the bushes. He jumped into a black Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tank, which was great.
Law enforcement sources identified the person detained as 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Routh. Arrest records suggest Routh has a history with firearms and law enforcement run-ins. An active Ukraine supporter and Trump critic, law enforcement says he was found with an AK-47 style rifle with a scope. It's unclear if he has an attorney. In Palm Beach County, I'm Lee Waldman.
Closer to home, an Omaha man's been arrested for motor vehicle homicide in connection to a fatal crash earlier this month. 23-year-old Terrell Turner is in custody after the crash near the University of Nebraska Omaha's campus that killed 69-year-old Vicky Avant and injured another person. Police say dash cam videos from an Omaha Metro bus and a private work vehicle were key pieces of evidence in the investigation. Authorities say Turner was driving a car that struck Avant's SUV, forcing her into oncoming traffic. Investigators say they believe Turner was following too closely when he fishtailed into Avant's vehicle while passing. A weekend wildfire burned dozens of acres in central Nebraska. This map, shared by Thedford Volunteer Fire and Rescue, shows the breadth of the blaze that burned in rural Thomas County, about 60 miles south of Valentine. Fire officials said they were paged to the fire Saturday morning. The blaze was dubbed the Black Diamond Fire by first responders. It drew response from 6 different fire departments. The fire was extinguished after about 4 hours, scorching about 138 acres. No word on a cause. Well, this November, Nebraskans will decide the future of abortion with competing measures to either keep the current 12-week ban or codify the right to an abortion in the state constitution. It's similar to what happened recently in Kansas. Voters there in the historically conservative state voted to keep abortion legal in 2022. Heather Hollingsworth has details on how a new abortion clinic has brought the debate over reproductive rights to the rural Midwest.
Pittsburgh is going to lift up a whole lot of states in the South and help people get care, but also for the first time ever, Pittsburgh will have local access here.
The first Planned Parenthood in this southeast Kansas town has only just opened, but employees say demand for services is already high.
Realistically now we are serving more out-of-state patients than we are Kansans, and most of those patients are coming from the South. We are seeing some folks who come from Nebraska or Iowa, but they are so small in number compared to the Texans and Oklahomans and Arkansans.
And some from as far away as Florida. Kansas is one of the few states in the region where abortion is still legal. And with 18 states now banning abortion in some or all stages of pregnancy, women are sometimes forced to travel long distances for care. In response, abortion providers have expanded their presence in certain areas.
I think it's really needed, and I think a lot of the community is really welcoming of it.
But not everybody.
So I don't know why we need a Planned Parenthood, but I know what it is. It's the abortion part of it. It's not about women's health. Abortion isn't about women's health. It's just about murder. It's about a selfish choice that you make that you may regret years down the way.
There is healing after abortion because we think that it's a quick fix and we'll all be happy and life goes on. I just strongly encourage women to think twice.
You know, we've been tracking for security purposes and also just community awareness that there will be protesters here. We want to prepare our staff and our patients. But it has been reassuring that we've hired staff really quickly, that we've had providers reach out, we've had community members say they're so excited we're here.
Meanwhile, Congress still trying to get work done, particularly on the issue of in vitro fertilization. Members of both parties calling for legislative action on the issue. John Lawrence has more.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says a second vote on an in vitro fertilization bill is coming soon.
Republicans can't claim to be pro-family, only to block protections for IVF. The American people deserve another chance to see if Republicans are for access to IVF or against it. It's that simple.
In June, the legislation, which guaranteed access to the treatment, stalled by a vote of 48 to 47, with two GOP senators, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, voting alongside their Democratic colleagues. This comes as multiple House Republicans told CNN they are pushing for Speaker Mike Johnson to hold a legislative vote backing IVF ahead of the 2024 election. Speaking of the 2024 election, early voting began last week in Alabama. Several other states begin early voting this weekend, and IVF is among the issues both sides are addressing on the campaign trail. As for former President Donald Trump,
he supports IVF. He supports fertility treatments. He supports all, as he supports exceptions for life and health, mother, for rape and incest. So his position is the moderate position on this one, and yet I know that conservatives still support him.
Vice President Kamala Harris previously said, quote, extremists led by the former president are threatening access to IVF and contraception. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
We've got another scam alert, this one coming from a Northeast Nebraska sheriff's office. The Madison County Sheriff's Office tells us scammers have been calling people lately, telling them they have active federal warrants. Sheriff Todd Volk told NCN in a statement the scammers call, ask for money, even providing badge numbers, courthouse addresses, and names of law enforcement. Now, Volk says don't provide any information to these callers. He says the government's not going to contact anyone by phone regarding a warrant or request payment. Well, those hoping Nebraska's potential blue dot in the 2nd Congressional District could be erased by legislative action may not have much to hold on to. Governor Jim Pillen said in a statement he is still considering calling another special session. This one would be for how Nebraska's electoral college votes are doled out. Pillen says he wants Nebraska to be a winner-take-all state and had previously hinted at doing something before the election. But Pillen said Friday he doesn't think he has the 33 votes he needs, said he wouldn't call a special session until he does. A new report says former University of Florida president and Nebraska U.S. Senator Ben Sasse spent over $1.3 million on social events. Student news service Fresh Take Florida says that amount was double Sasse's predecessor, Kent Fuchs. The $1 million spent on catering for dinners, football tailgates, and extravagant social functions. Fuchs has been brought back as the interim president after Sasse announced he was resigning earlier this year. All this follows another report from the independent Florida Alligator, which says Sasse gave 6 former staffers and Republican officials jobs with salaries that outstripped comparable positions. A central Nebraska homeless shelter starting a big kitchen renovation project. Crossroads Mission Avenue announcing last week that the remodel will happen at their location in Kearney. It'll change the residential style kitchen to a commercial kitchen and expand the dining area. Shelter says they expect the project to cost about $450,000 and be done by mid-November. The shelter says they serve about 67 meals per day since 2012. The shelter has served more than 657,000 meals total. And for the 3rd straight year, North Platte is the center of the fruit-throwing universe. The third annual Avocado Launching Championship held at Powell's Brewing Company on Saturday. Contestants used launching mechanisms ranging from trebuchets to water balloon launchers, spring-loaded devices to mounted crossbow-like contraptions. The winner, Team Holy Guacamole of North Platte. Team captain Brian Johnston and teammates Joe Staroska and Jeff Pearsall split the $3,500 prize. If you're wondering, at today's prices, that could get you about 2,800 avocados. You can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.